Hello, welcome to episode 32 of Photowalk, the Photowalk and Photography podcast. I'm Martin, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Sandeep. How are you, Sandeep? You all right?
I'm all good, thank you, Martin. How are you?
I'm very good, yeah, very good. Well, I'm sort of good. I turned 50 last week, so I'm sort of like trying to stave off the slight depression of becoming 50. But other than that, I'm good. Especially as we've got a guest again this week. We've got Paul McKay from Analogue Wonderland, who I can't believe we've not had on before this. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Delighted to be on here chatting to you folk.
Yeah,
Excellent.
glad to have you. So what we normally do is we sort of have a little round table of what we've been up to. Like I say, it was my birthday last week, so my wife treated me to a little trip away at the weekend. Went to stay on a boat on a river in Windsor, which was very nice. Just sat on the deck of a boat, looking out at the river and drinking and playing cards and stuff like that. It was really lovely. And then on the Saturday, we went into Windsor and did all the touristy things of watching the changing of the guard parade thing, and took some photos for a change. Which
did you get the fly
rare.
past on at Windsor because it was Drooping the Colour?
No, I didn't see it. No.
So when we came into
there.
London on the train, my wife pointed out the window. She's like, "Oh, there's the red arrows." Okay, wasn't expecting that. So I didn't realise. I was just wondering if they got as far as Windsor.
No, I didn't see that. But it was a lovely day. I got a slightly red head because I wasn't expecting the weather to be so nice. I didn't bring my hat that I normally have, so I got a slightly red head from that. But it was a lovely day, and got take some pictures, which was good, and then had some lunch. And then it's not photography related, but we didn't want to go straight home, so we decided to go to the cinema, and we watched Scary Movie 6.
They're up to 6 now.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen one since like 2, and 20 minutes in, my wife and I looked at each other and went, "What are we watching? This is probably the worst film I've ever seen in my life. It's terrible. Not in the slightest bit funny." So I don't know if that's an age thing, whether I've grown out of it or I just don't remember it very well. I'm not sure what it is, or it's just not a very good film. But there you go. That was my weekend. How about you, Sandeep? Have you been up to anything?
Yeah, so I was in Bath last weekend. My daughter's at uni there, so we were picking her up and bringing her back. Had planned for the Saturday morning to go out, take the camera while they were off shopping, and it rained, and it rained, and it rained, and I just couldn't be bothered. Wasn't in the mood for it. Too wet, too dull. I think I took about 3 photos in the whole morning, and then we came back and loaded in the camera was a roll of Piranha P30 that I was trying to finish anyway. So you can imagine stormy, cloudy, overcast, 80 ASAs with a yellow filter on is not the best for photographing. However, then last week, there's a car show in London. It's called London Concours. It's at sort of the Royal Artillery Company up near Moorgate. And I try and go every year. I was keeping an eye on the weather, and at work, saw there was a break in the rain. So, all right, I'm going to buy a ticket and go. So finished the last couple of frames of the P30, chucked in an Ektar 100, a polarizer filter on, and in about 40 minutes finished the whole roll, running around because I'm looking on the weather app and I can see rain's coming again. And I knew with the 100 speed, I mean, it was a bit stupid. I knew there was going to probably be rain. I should have brought a better film with me. But, Ektar and brightly coloured cars and all the rest of it. A polarizer takes out all those of you who don't use it. You shouldn't use it. Don't use it. But it really takes out the reflections and really gives a pop to the colour. So did finish it. I was about to load a second roll of Ektar. Looked up, thought, nope, it's not going to happen. It's just going to sit in my camera. So I stopped myself, went home. So they've gone off to be developed. And then this weekend I'm off on holidays, and I'm going to say this carefully because the man we've invited on, I think I have a blog to about traveling with film that I completely forgot to write. So I'll be traveling with film this week. So everyone knows I've pared my camera collection down. So I don't have the eternal, what camera shall I take? I'm taking my OM40i. That's my travel camera. It's perfect. I sold my digital one. I don't want it because I never enjoy using it. I've got a number of films to take, so I've still got a couple of rolls of Ektar. I'm going to take some black and white. I've got some slide left over that I'm thinking of taking and finishing. And I'm confident enough now, having traveled a lot the last year and a half, going back to the blog I haven't written, Paul, is that actually you can pretty much be okay with the x-rays and hand checks and all the rest of it. Got over my nervousness of traveling with film, and it's going to be a huge problem. I don't think it is anymore. And I think also the airports are coming round to understanding that and being happy to hand check. Can't guarantee it, and not everywhere's the same, especially when you're returning. So let's not pretend otherwise, but I'm okay. So, yeah, so I know the cameras. I just got to pack what films I need to take. So that's what I've been up to. And the other thing I did, speaking of car photography, in Bath, there's a really, really good shop called Magaria Galleria or something like that. It's all books, publications, magazines, really some obscure, but they've got this one called Auto Photos, done by this company that does a competition every year, 100 best car pictures of the year. And so I bought that. I think it's done by Shutter Hub, is the publisher. So I bought it because the photos in it are fantastic, but then also I wanted inspiration, different ways of thinking about taking photos in cars. So good. I bought the other 3 copies of online from them as well. So I'm going to be reading that as a bit of holiday reading and inspiration.
Where are you going on holiday?
I'm going to Malta. So I've been there before. Been a few times, actually. We really like it there. So I know some of the sites I'm going to be going to and some of the places, and I kind of know the colours, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I'll take the films with it. And it does bizarrely work well with black and white. You know, I'm very much one of these, it's summer, it's holiday, it's got to be colour. But it doesn't have to be colour. And actually, you can get some really good black and white. And I've got a load of XX I can take with me.
Oh, I love XX.
Yeah, me too.
So I'll be taking that.
Cool. So, Paul, have you still get a chance to take any pictures anymore, or is it's just too busy with the Analogue Wonderland? You've been up to
No, it's I mean, ultimately, like, I started Analogue Wonderland because I loved film. It was always that. And a lot of people said to me at the start, like, be careful not to turn your hobby into work because you'll lose the passion. And thankfully, I'm happy with 8 years in that has not happened.
excellent.
There's definitely times when I feel like too lethargic or too stressed to take photos, but that's, I think, any work, any life can do that. It's never the fact that it is film that upsets me. So so what have I been doing? Well, I actually went to Southampton at the weekend with a load of my family to watch one of the women's T20 World Cup matches.
Okay.
Which was super fun. New Zealand went against West Indies, and the weather was just unbelievable. And the Southampton cricket pitch is slightly elevated, and the stands are quite low. So you just had this, and it was an evening match. So you just had this gorgeous light coming across it the whole time. So I took a load of photos that evening. I'm going to get the labs about them tomorrow, so I'll see how good they are in about 24 hours'
17
time.
by any chance?
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was actually my little Canon Sure Shot.
Brilliant.
I seem to have misplaced my Pentax.
Oh dear.
I know, which I can't get my head around. I know I shot it at Easter. The problem is I have so many places that I can put cameras, camera bags, and also Easter, like, that's also when you're putting away winter coats and bags, and to be in a pocket somewhere. But I also have half a memory of saying to someone they can borrow a camera, and I don't think it was the Pentax, but I can't remember who it was or what camera it was.
Well, that's dangerous.
Which suggests that I was in a pub or something similar. So yeah, I got really stressed about it a couple of days ago that I couldn't find it, and then I realised that this happens semi-regularly, and it will turn up in a camera bag or at work or somewhere stupid, and I've just got to get over that. So that was fun. And then tomorrow I'm actually going into London to do a studio shoot on film, which I've started doing for personal just fun and artistic expression. Last year I joined Kennington Camera Club, which have an amazing load, actually 4 dark rooms, brilliant facilities for analog shooters, and then 2 studio shoots. And so I've been sort of learning how to do sort of studio lighting and portraits and things like that. So
brilliant.
yes, I'm meeting up with the dark room manager and a couple of friends, and we're going to basically take turns to be the model, and everyone else going to practice film shooting, and that should be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. So no, it's good to mix. To sort of plan things for myself that are very deliberately not work. They're not to do with content creation. They're not to do with, trying to sell a certain film or talk about a new product, because that can get quite overwhelming. This is just me for fun.
We're going to ask you all these things to talk about over the next 20 minutes.
Of course. No, please do.
just so we're clear where we're going with this.
That's all right. This is a work call for me. Don't worry. Like your associates. No, I'm joking, of course.
We'll take that offline. You should start using some jingo.
So let's talk about the thing that's happening sort of when this comes out, be in about a week, I think.
Is this the thing that Paul's doing, but not on Photowalk Me, just so we're clear?
Don't. I'm very, very jealous, and I'm not going to try and hide it. I am very jealous of the number of Photowalks you've managed to get it to happen in one day, let alone, I can't get that many on the site in 2-3 months probably. But anyway, we'll try and hide the jealousy a little bit. So this is the third year you've done it, is it?
Third year. So the big film Photowalk, third year. So the first year was, I remember having the idea like in a swimming pool, because we were basically in the middle of plotting the Pentax 17 launch, and Pentax had come to talk to me about it several months before it had gone live, because they wanted. Obviously, they wanted me to sell it, but they also wanted to talk about how we can actually market this. They deal with a load of brilliant businesses and photography shops and things, but no one else sort of a big size that were analog specialists. So they really wanted to do something with us, and we're sort of planning some normal things like the launch deal and like email campaigns and photo shoots that would test rolls, all that kind of stuff, social videos. But then I had this idea of like, what if we tried to do like the biggest ever concurrent film photo walk in the UK. Because we'd done photo walks before that probably got up to about 40 or 50 people. But to go bigger than that, you don't really want to make it, even 50 is very unwieldy for a photo walk. It really ends up being 2 or 3 smaller photo walks sort of trailing after each other, which is fine. But any more than that, and you start to make it impossible to get somewhere to start, impossible for a pub at the end, all that kind of thing. So I had the idea of doing multiple ones at various times, and then a few of the photo walk leaders would have Pentax 17 sent to them in advance, so people could get their hands on it and try it. Because as you both know, having been in a bar with me pitching my Pentax 17 to you, it's only really when you get a hold of the camera do you really understand it, I think. Understand the build quality, understand how light it is, blah, blah, blah. So that was sort of the idea. And it was just one of those ideas that really just took off. Pentax threw their weight behind it. Kodak joined in as well because they saw the opportunity for everyone using a Pentax to be using Kodak film in it. Would be nice for them, they thought, which is true. And then we were blessed by a wonderful day of weather from the north to the south of the country.
Brilliant.
Everyone had good weather that first. And then so all the photos come back of these, happy smiling people having a great time in the sun. And I think the association then became with the event rather with luck, which I'll take.
Yeah.
And so the sort of second year, but of course it is a huge amount of admin. There's a whole load of people on my team who dedicate hours to it, from the website side and all of the facilities and the features in the lab and printing things and organizing things and coordinating with the leaders. And then there'll always be leaders who are ill or injured or can't do it. And then so there's a lot that goes behind it, and it was a lot of work. And so there's we never really planned to do it again. But then last year, so many people were saying, when are you doing it? When are you doing it? That eventually, like, fine, we'll do it. But we didn't give ourselves very much time, which meant the admin was even more intense.
Yeah.
But we said to ourselves, like, if this one goes well as well, it'll become a
You'll
thing.
make it an
It'll become a thing. We'll just plan for it. And that's what happened. It went really well again. We got great feedback. A load of obviously wonderful leaders up and down the country, and more each time. Like, it's filling in the gaps in the country, really. So this year we're like, okay, we're going to do it early doors. Got the volunteers to help, obviously, with running the walks, which we couldn't do without. And then tomorrow I've got the morning set aside with a load of my team to go through all the sort of the ticket details and make sure that everything's happy. We know where to send the films to the leaders. We've got all the legal stuff in place, all of that kind of thing. So yeah, at the moment we're in the midst of that, but it is really exciting because again, we've got, I think it's somewhere between 40 or 50 walks it'll probably close at all over the place. There's a few cities that have multiple walks. So London always has several,
Yeah.
but I
Of
think
course.
Newcastle has a couple. There's a few others that have multiple walks happening in different parts with different areas. And also we've learned over time, the first time we did it, you got a roll of film with every ticket. Whereas now we've got to the point where actually we've got 3 tickets this year where there's still one that has a Kodak color film with it and development if people like shooting Kodak color film. But of course, a lot of people want to shoot Ilford or black and white or 120 or anything else or super film or something else, Polaroid. So we then have, the walk only tickets. And then we also this year, for the first time, have done a ticket that also includes a little starter camera, a reloadable plastic point and shoot that we've got exclusively with Kodak. Because last year we had quite a few people say, well, I wanted to bring along my mum, my brother, my son, whatever, and they don't shoot
They don't
film
have a
yet.
camera, yeah.
And then we're trying to send people to buy cameras nearby, which again is fine. And obviously a lot of, and also worst comes to worst, I say turn up. Everyone brings on average 2 to 3 cameras per photo walk. There will be enough cameras and enough people who will be very happy to lend one. But this is a nice way, obviously, that they can walk away with their own camera at the end of it as well. So yeah, third year, somewhere between 900 and 1,200 people.
That's
again,
amazing.
depending on where the tickets went in the end.
Yeah.
Will be photo walking around the country on the same day. A lot of them shooting Kodak Ultramax. And fingers crossed for nice weather third year in a row.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So how do you actually think about this carefully? Third year up, there's obviously lots of learning, like you talked about the tickets and the logistics and stuff. But for the actual walk, and you talk about the leaders as your ambassadors and other people for Analogue Wonderland, what guidance do you give them? How do you sort of organize the actual walk to make sure it works well? And what are the sort of tips you would give them to bring people along?
Yeah, it's been one of the most fun bits actually, is working with the leaders each time, because the first year I really worried about it and tried to make sure it was either employees or ambassadors, back when we had the ambassador program, or people who I sort of knew and trusted, like either, so you'd have people who worked for Intrepid, for example, down in Brighton, ran a walk because I know them, labs that I knew would be able to do it. But actually, there were still a few volunteers, and over time I realized that I was adding too much stress to it. And in reality, the beautiful thing about this community is there are so many people who know things and are knowledgeable and trustworthy that really, by trying to make it, by trying to narrow it down to people that we could almost vouch for, it was making it more difficult. And also, you're finding your own blind spots. Like, actually, we don't know anyone in Northern Ireland, for example. I don't know any local shops or labs personally in Northern Ireland. So we were cutting off an entire section by doing that. So instead, what we do is we ask for volunteers. And I say volunteers, like something we added last year is they do get compensation. Either money or film, or a donation to a charity of their choice. So those are sort of the 3 options that they get. And those donations can also go to, if they work on behalf of a gallery or a community-led data room, that money can go straight into the organisation. So there is compensation, but even still, we are asking people to give up their Saturday afternoons to take responsibility for people walking around and having planned the route.
Yeah, and you talk about trust, because ultimately they're representing your brand. So you must have to put a lot of trust in these, or do you have to do any sort of vetting on the ones you don't, like you say, so many X amount, but there's some that you probably don't know that well. Do you do any sort of, when I say vetting, I'm not talking heavy background checks, but just generally what their background is in terms of photography and community and social media or whatever else?
We asked them to sort of fill in a sort of a form of interest, really, which is a very simple thing. It takes, I think, 5-10 minutes to do the first one. But what that does is that allows people to sort of talk a little bit about themselves, about why they're doing the one they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to tell straight away. And I think 99% of people who have filled that in will end up being asked to do a walk, because if you're going to sit down and talk about it, you'll see the
You're already
passion for
interested.
film.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also it's a bit self-fulfilling in that you're only going to fill in that form if you feel comfortable with taking 20 people around the area you're saying. You know, we're very clear up front what the responsibilities will be.
Yeah.
And then we're wonderfully surprised by the people who come forward and what they then choose to do. And people have different interests as well. So you'll have somebody who's like, I want to run an architectural based walk. I want to run a nature walk. And also, you know, I really want to make sure that my walk is accessible. So I will ensure that our route doesn't go anywhere near stairs, accessible to a certain type of mobility challenge, obviously. And so they all bring their own flavor of it, which again is just a wonderful thing. Yes, I then have to let go of control, which is sometimes difficult for someone who runs a business and a brand and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, that's the joy of community. That's the joy of it. And from our side, what we then do is we again, last year in particular, we're very clear on the legal side of the terms and conditions. So, you know, the Photowalk leaders aren't liable for the people who are on the walk. Everyone is joining at their own risk. We are not liable for the Photowalk leaders in return. So if somebody turns up and is wildly inappropriate, they're not our employee. We don't have a disciplinary process. They wouldn't be asked back. And those people who are on that walk and affected, we will deal with one-to-one and, you know, make sure that they're suitably. Exactly.
Yeah.
We gather feedback every time. But we've never had any, touch wood, at no point yet have we had a problem. I'm sure it will happen at some point, inevitably, if you do it for a million years. But
I've never had any complaints from anybody about any Photowalk leader.
Any that you know about, Martin.
Exactly.
Well, they've never come to me.
The WhatsApps that go behind your back.
I've had no complaints come to me, is what I'm saying. There's complaints. They probably complained about me all sorts of times at my Photowalks. But I've never,
but you're similar as Paul's saying, you facilitate walks. You're not the walk leader. You're not responsible for the actual walks. You're just just is a bad word. You're a very reliable source for people to be able to organise. So that's fair enough.
Yeah, and each year we then have the repeat leaders who then refine the routes or choose to break out and do a slightly different one, like Tom Warland, I think has done 3 in a row. Dan Rubin's on his second one this year. He's got a great walk planned. So you see these things evolve as well, and obviously new people join the community and want to lead walks. Some other people drop off for various reasons as well. So there's a nice healthy churn to it as well. Like it doesn't look the same year on year. And it's great. And, again, brands are happy to help work with us. They see the benefit. Kodak again have come in and a part of it with the Ultramax and things like that. So it does feel a really nice thing. And for it to happen sort of at the start of summer, before summer holidays start, it feels like it gets
people are
everyone
still
in the mood.
around a bit and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And fingers crossed.
So worldwide next year.
Yeah, well, that is the question I often have. And at the moment, the policy is, feel free to organise a photo walk on that day, but I'm not going to try and ship negatives to and from.
No, definitely not.
Not just yet.
No,
definitely not.
Oh, that's really good. I love the Photowalk community. I think it's a great thing, and I think it's a good thing that you're doing. It brings a lot of people together. I've been doing Photowalks now for, I can't remember when I did my first one. It must be 12 years ago, something like that. And it's I still enjoy going on them and meeting new people. I think it's. Obviously, it's too late to get people to, because tickets will have stopped being on sale by now. But by the time this goes out, hopefully it's sold out and everybody goes. But it's a great thing.
One of the things that I really, again, you hadn't thought would happen necessarily, but now it has, is just a real moment of pleasure. Is I've now heard of people create WhatsApp groups when they're on those walks and things, and some of those communities have turned into friendship groups. And someone sent me a zine that had been produced by a group of photography folk, and they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we first met together on the Big Fun Photo Walk 2 years ago, and that started a friendship that is now they meet up regularly."
Yeah.
Actually, one of the people, funny enough, one of the people I'm doing a photo shoot, the studio shoot with tomorrow, she went on a big film photo walk 2 years ago in Edinburgh. And all of these connections happen. And again, you plant the seed, and then these people then, click, connect.
You know, the first time Martin and I met was a Photowalk.
There we go.
Yeah.
So there you go. So,
yeah, and it's the other point of inspiration from 3 years ago was World Record Day. And I was always very envious about analog friends in vinyl who once a year got everyone talking about vinyl records and people turning up and community events. And it was sort of an idea of how do we try and do our own version of that. Now, there aren't as many shops as record shops, even if you put all the labs and all of them. We would never be able to do that.
It's not like you can release limited edition film for a special day either.
Exactly. No. But we can create physical locations of photo walks that act as that sort of nexus of connection. And 3 years on, that seems to be working.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good
so
stuff.
let's discuss Analogue Wonderland a bit. So where are you now? How are you feeling about the company and everything that's going on? And what's the industry like in your? That's a huge question, I know. But the industry, like, you put a really good blog out on Kodak Alaris and Kodak Eastman and the difference where everyone was really worried, but making it simple. So what's your thoughts about what's out there right now and how it's impacts?
It's fascinating because it's there's definitely times when I feel like an old voice in the industry, which is ridiculous because it's 8 years old, the business. But the last 8 years have obviously included just ridiculousness from obviously the COVID, Brexit, the Kodak film shortage, the crazy cost price increases, the silver cost price increases. In 8 years, that's 5 things that would be by themselves worthy of a podcast episode in a book. So, and each of those obviously caused massive disruption in the industry, and businesses struggled or didn't make it. Some fantastic businesses, others have done really well. So, first of all, I'm really pleased to still be here, honestly. There's been a few times when it's been really difficult. And again, we all know really brilliant businesses who have not made it. Not necessarily because they sort of failed from a profitability side, but because owners or staff it just became too much. And that balance of, is this worth it? I was saying to someone just this morning, actually, like, we're looking at, fiscal year planning and next year's financials and all this kind of stuff. And I was saying, I do believe in the sort of the cyclical nature of life and business that there's going to be some good news soon. Just because there always is.
Yeah,
I hope
I agree.
it's next year. Maybe it's in 5 years. I mean, I can't see anything that suggests it's next year, but there's been a lot that's gone headwind, but there will be some. But I mean, that all seems a bit doom and gloom. I mean, to put another way, like, film has, from when I started, it was very much at the point where was film going to continue being a thing for very long. Unfortunately, in the sort of 2 years after that, it became clear that it definitely was going to carry on, and COVID helped, as it was one of those hobbies that people could do at home, whether it's developing or wandering around your neighborhood with a camera. And then, a couple of things really kicked on. The fact that Harman were in charge of Ilford and Kentmere, and that's a really good company behind that is very much a sustainable, built for the future company. Kodak's a funny one. But aside from all of the weird stuff, like, at its core, again, Eastman Kodak is a good business that has good processes and good supplies. We can talk about the marketing and branding stuff for a long time as well. There's a couple of really big things like that are holding that I believe will hold us together for many decades to come. And then all the other businesses around it, whether that's independent labs, whether that's creative films, whether that's events-based or workshop-based or community darkroom stuff, they're the ones that obviously find it really tough and get hit hardest. But they're also the ones that are easier to start up. So you sort of see more of a churn of that. So it makes it very, very fluid. I think the other thing that's I've really thought about in the last week is that I don't 8 years ago, it was a lot easier to start getting awareness and visibility through social media than it is now.
Yeah.
And I really feel for like labs that start up today, because you can see them get to sort of 1,000 followers pretty easily, maybe 10,000. And after that, it is just impossible. And our follower growth has slowed down, but we've got those good years. And Take It Easy Lab at the time, launched for COVID, they got a really good build up as well. I just don't believe that's possible to the same extent these days.
No, it's not. I think the sort of proliferation of ads put people off. The algorithms on some of the sites put people off. I just think the again, not going to without getting too serious or specific, the geopolitical environment and what they see about it and the news, they don't want to see it every day in their lives. Who needs that? So it does put people off. I'm going to ask you a bit of a controversial question. Are you still on X?
No.
Good.
No,
I moved on. I'm just wondering, because I do think brands should. This personal opinion, so I just do think brands should come off that.
No. I have a lot of friends still in the old corporate branding world.
Yeah,
and it was obvious from. So I pulled Analogue Wonderland off Twitter. I think we stopped posting quite a bit before. So when Elon Musk bought Twitter, we stopped posting, or we just sort of sent links, didn't really engage any much. And then, oh yes, I remember. Yes, it was the Hitler salute. And then I was like, and we delete it.
We need to go. Yeah.
So I should probably do the same, to be honest. I've got an automation that's been there since the beginning that, when a photo gets posted, it gets automatically posted to Twitter. X, sorry. I might as well. I mean, it doesn't.
Does it get any engagement?
It gets no engagement. So I might as well. Yeah, I should probably just delete it. And
so where from an Analogue Wonderland perspective, you still need the online presence. So is it really Instagram more than anything else, or?
Instagram's the one we always come back to. Like, we have TikTok, and YouTube is great for certain things as well, but they're both more. They serve different needs. Instagram's the one that still feels most like a community. Yeah. And it's less than it used to be, and it's less than Twitter used to be, which I think is where I met you, Sandeep. The first time I think was via Twitter. It doesn't have the same feel as it did, but it's the closest to it. And there's also nothing that's coming behind it to replace it. So sort of Instagram sort of replaced Facebook. Twitter coexisted, and there was this wonderful thing where you'd be able to sort of run them both, and you had some friends who were across both, but also you had a lot of friends on just one or the other. And then it's all just become a lot messier, and then there's nothing really coming behind it in the same way. And then, exactly, you get into the political stuff, but like TikTok's not the same as it can't be because of the ownership stuff. But to take it back to what you guys do, that's kind of where physical meetups and stuff is better again. Because back in the day, I used to be able to meet the equivalent of a photo walk with people by tweeting something and then having fun banter and interesting conversations, and I'd learn something and I'd make a joke and I'd make a friend. And you can't do that now. That's just not going to happen, whereas it does in real life. So that kind of stuff never goes away. And that's also where we look at, the photography show. I think we've been to every year. And I can't see us stepping away from that either, because it's a lot of money, both to them, but also, we take the people.
It's the presence, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That all costs as well. And then you build things, you print things. But it's the one time a year when we can turn up and meet a load of people, and it never pays out business-wise from a profit point of view. We don't sell enough to make, but
is that really the point of it?
No,
it helps, don't get me wrong, but it's got to be where it leads to and what it's exposure, for want of a better word.
100%, and just the connection and the meeting people and being able to talk about things and learn things, and you just get these ideas and these connections, and it's always funny to see what Brendan Barry's built this time.
So you must have, and again, I'm not going to put you on the spot. Clearly, you can't say anything. You've obviously got insight into what's coming down the line with companies, cameras, and stuff. Do you remain enthusiastic around innovation?
Yes. Again, my corporate background is in sales and marketing. Innovation is the lifeblood of a category is stamped somewhere in my grad training from 2008. But no, it is. And I think over time, there are elements where, I think we went through a period where there's a massive growth in creativity in soup films and rebranded films. Then there's sort of this backlash of cynicism, like, oh, everything's the same and it's all. And I feel like we've found the happy medium here where
Yeah.
people are realistic. They know there's 3 film factories in the world.
Yeah.
There are only a certain number of emulsions that can ever be produced. Yes, there are ways of then playing, manipulating, having fun with them and doing different formats and stuff. But within that, actually, there's a load of creativity to be done. And I still see, people then go off to Japan and come back with the craziest packaging, and that's exciting. And I love that. Like,
Yep.
that's still, Ilford have just done the football packaging. I love that stuff. The vintage, the retro cassettes that people did a couple years ago. I love that because it's fun. Like, and this is meant to be fun.
No, absolutely. I mean,
someone rebrands. I'm like, this is cool. Like, what was the other one? The Australian brand that had the leopards, the really lovely yellow and black ones.
I've even got that. Kiki Pan?
And if you line them up, you have this bigger picture of the
box,
leopard. I can't get that out of my head. It's just so well done. Are the photos I shot on that film better than the others? No, but
you had fun.
It's fun.
Opening the package, getting it delivered, having something different to open. So, oh God, I've lost my thread now. Okay, we probably should tackle the price of film a little bit because it has increased.
Yep.
Now, I'm not going to go down to, the equivalent of your X% of salary in 1970 or 1980, it's the same price.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it is.
Yeah. No. That argument made sense 3 years ago comparing to the late 90s, but it's broken
anymore. No.
Yeah.
So
it's slowed down.
The
growth in film photography use, because we had this big sort of explosion of it again, sort of like, probably 15 years ago in the sort of days of Twitter. There seemed to, people were going back to film, and it was, there seemed to be like, this big explosion of it. Is that still? Is it still going up? We're still getting more new film photographers, or has it sort of slowed down a bit now? And has the price of film affected that?
It's definitely slowed down versus that. Got to be careful with second derivatives. The rate of increase has slowed, I think it's fair to say. Yeah. I still think we're getting more film shooters in, but they're different film shooters and they're shooting less than they were. Because again, you come in 10 years ago, you buy a pack of portrait to start yourself off with, and you shoot 5 rolls of film in a weekend, and people can't afford to do that. No. People who are joining the hobby are not going to shoot 5 rolls of film in a weekend. They'll shoot 1 or 2 and find out where they like it. And they're more likely to have borrowed a friend's camera or started with a cheap camera than got an Olympus OM series off eBay for £35 back in the day. So the price has definitely affected the way that people come in. The other thing that's quite noticeable when I talk to friends and contacts across the globe is that the UK is in a worse position than a lot of markets. We have made ourselves poorer through Brexit in many ways. And you can talk about the general sense, but also the very literal sense of,
well, you can see it with the new rebranded Kodak, the price of it here compared to the price of it in the States, for example.
100%. And while we're very lucky that Ilford film is made in the country, that's the one that hasn't gone up in as much value, which is not a coincidence. Like, it's not a coincidence. So, I see very live the costs of doing business across that. So that's one thing. It's also the isolationism that's come off the back of it. Like, when I started, I used to get regular emails from European and global suppliers of different things wanting to, talk about stuff and have me get in the UK market. And that's just dropped because for a lot of people, they're like, you're a bit annoying now, aren't you?
Doesn't make sense financially or either.
It doesn't. But when there's a small business looking to expand globally, you can either go into markets that have multiple opportunities, or you can try and break into this one that is very deliberately set out to make itself difficult. By definition, that was the point. So there's that kind of stuff as well. But I think the overall picture is still positive. Like, it's not as though things are in a doom loop. And also you have the wonderful gift that is AI, where what's the least AI thing? It's an analog photo. It's like, we always had that debate. Friends were asking me, is AI really weird for film photographers because it's so different? I'm like, no, we lived through the Photoshop explosion of the 2010s. You know, we'd be there when HDR were invented. Like we've lived through people. You know, well, Instagram had the bloody film filters at the start. So for us, this isn't new. The funny thing is, of course, that actually we welcome the backlash that goes, well, is that photo real? Let me show you the negative. Oh, look, it's physically here. There we go. Yes, that exists. That is a real moment in time.
And it's a break from that sort of technology as well, isn't it? I think when you work with all these things or you use it a lot, you want to have that go back to something a little bit more simple and real and get away from that. So I think it gives you that nice counterpoint to using AI, and we all work on computers all day. So having that that metal brick that you can go and take physical photographs with, I think it's an antidote to some of the less pleasant stuff that we have to deal with these days.
It definitely is, and I mean that was one of the reasons I loved film photography. Was I worked in a corporate environment where I was at computers and desks and data, and the idea of going for a walk on a Saturday morning with like a lomography sprocket rocket, black and white film, and my fingers crossed was a wonderful way of turning off the brain and well, not turning it off, turning on the creativity side of my brain, exactly, and opening up a second segment. But it's like with one of the things if you develop film in our lab, we have the professional editing option as an add-on. And the point of that's to allow people who don't want to sit at a computer with their own photos to know that what they're going to get is the best possible film. So, I mean, all of our editors are film shooters. They know what film should look like. They're never going to make it look false. They'll make an actor look the most actor. They'll make portrait look the most portrait. But that's designed. That's there for people who for the idea of sitting and editing scans is totally not the point of film photography. And obviously there's also people who love doing that, and everyone has their own way of doing a hobby. There's no judgment there, but I know that's a massive part for some people, myself included.
And then one final thing. Look, we always say on this show it's a hobby, or for to professional, that's a different story. But it's a hobby. Hobbies are expensive. Some are much more expensive than film. So, if it works for you, great. And I get your point. I shoot a little bit less than I used to because of the cost, but I'm more mindful of what I shoot and I still enjoy it. I'm not going to give up my hobby. But my one big fear problem, slide film, it's just too much now.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't think that can be solved.
Well, I remember when it launched at 14 quid.
And everyone thought that was really expensive. And at the time, it was. People were expecting Kodak to launch E100 under a tenner. Never going to happen. It's now nearly 30 quid a roll, and you're just like...
I know. And 120, and then you shoot a roll of 120, and you're like, this is so good.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing stuff.
It's so difficult. I know. And I think as long as it's sustainable for Kodak to still produce it, it falls into that world. But it is funny when you then think back at, the 70s and 60s where it's like that was the colour film, that was the holiday show.
The thing,
they were the snapshots. It evolved. And I think the other thing as well that's as this industry sort of evolves into this next stage, it is not a long time to have gone from, is this dead, to, no, it looks like it's going to be around for a while. And I think what we'll see, the category sort of mature a bit, and things like the plastic point and shoot that we've introduced with Kodak. Kodak get upset when I call it plastic point and shoot, but that's what it is. One of the points of difference of that is not the features, it's the price. We worked bloody hard to get the price down, because if you're going to buy something that is the days of getting an SLR quality for under 50 quid are gone. Like slide film for a tenner are gone forever. But you need something at that low price point to allow people to at least experience the start. And then if they like the hobby, then it can be the thing that they spend a couple of hundred quid a year on, and that's peace. That's great. That's exactly. There's lots of mental and physical benefits to film photography over a lot of hobbies. A lot of ways you could spend 200 quid. So it's those kind of things as well that I think we'll see and come in and hopefully stick, where you'll just have different price points, different categories, different things, and then people will find their own path over time. And one year they might I've got a great bonus and shoot slide for a couple of weeks, and then other years it'll be Kent 200 for the whole year. Bulk rolled.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, you'll take some awesome images on that as well, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we all said right at the beginning, Double X is one of our favourites, and you can still get that relatively cheaply. Sort of between £7 and £9 a roll, isn't it? I think, depending on who's rolled it.
Who's rolled it and how well?
Yeah, exactly.
No, exactly, and I think that's the other good thing is when you versus again a lot of other hobbies, the difference in price of getting a super fancy camera versus an entry-level camera, you're not locked out from creating brilliant photos.
No.
It's not a pay-to-play kind of hobby where you can't ever show me one of our competitions that we run regularly and the new ones coming with Kodak. I can never tell who's got a nice camera and who's not. What I can tell is who's
Taking
thought
a
about
nice
the photo and
yeah.
not. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And actually, I don't think we even asked about the camera anymore because it's not that interesting. Is the reality.
So when are we going to see an Analogue Wonderland printed exhibition in an exhibition space?
It's a constant idea because it's a constant idea. It's it's not even the cost of it. It's the resource to do it properly because it's the kind of thing where you wouldn't want to do it half-hearted. And I do love the idea, but I mean, yeah, we'll see. It's always an idea. It never gets never gets high enough on the to-do list to be to then get the investment and the resource and the time that it deserves. But for now we'll keep photo walking.
Cool. Any other future things coming up that's higher up on the list? Anything new you're planning on doing?
There's nothing massive. I think the last year there's been quite a lot of consolidation on various aspects and ideas and things, and so much within digital marketing has changed massively in the last year, which I promise I will not bore you both with. But the way that you market online at the moment is unrecognizable from 2 or 3 years ago, which obviously has massive implications for a lot of things. So stuff like that's happening. This is for a very different type of podcast, I think. Get into that.
Yeah, well,
and to be honest,
no point
isn't my passion.
Telling me about marketing. I couldn't do it 2 or 3 years ago. I won't be able to do it now either. My kryptonite is marketing. I'm terrible at it, but there you go.
Well, it's one of those things that, it changes all the time. But one of the things that we've actually spent a lot of time focusing on in the last few months, actually, fun enough, is price of film and running regular deals with Kodak and other people. Because the supply sort of come back in the last 3 years. People can buy film in more places, which is great. But you walk into a lot of high street shops and it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which again, I understand why that's not a judgment for the shops, but it's also the reality. So we've always had good prices, but we're trying to be more explicit about it, about the deals and making sure that you rotate those. And there's always good deals on site and that kind of thing. Which there's times when it feels a bit sort of, I don't know, commercial and non-community, but actually I think that's just me tying myself in knots, because in reality the best thing for community is giving good prices, good availability, and good films to people, refrigerated well, shipped fast, all that kind of basics. So a lot of my time in the last few months has been spent on the less sexy but really important stuff around those kind of things. There are a couple of bits of innovation from suppliers I'm aware of in the next year or so that should be quite fun. Not going to happen in the next few weeks. But I can see enough there as well that doesn't worry me, that there'll be things for us to play with and shiny new toys for us to try and like or not like as we go in the future.
Sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. And nomography still keep doing. Alternating between brilliant and bonkers things in my personal view, but they do, and I love them for it because that's what they've always done and hopefully always will. So there's enough excitement around there that I think is really good as well. So no, nothing drastic, but I think hopefully a lot more of what we've done well, and fun events and things as we see them come.
Perfect.
Good. That'd be nice to see She Hearts film come back. It'd be nice to see. Is any plans for that, or is that now that Emma's gone?
Well, exactly. Emma took it to Australia, I think, because it's something that
she took it with her.
Yeah, well, she came up with it when she was working for me. But again, it's one of those things, like in a big business, you go like, well, then the company owns the idea kind of thing. That'd be really weird for me to do when it was like 2 of us in a room. Plus, it'd be really weird for me to do as a man, to be like, no, I should be the one who keeps out this initiative.
Exactly.
So we just sort of said, look, I'll support it, but again, do what you want. And I know Emma did quite a lot at the start, and I think life caught up and things go. I think there is still like WhatsApp groups and Instagrams that still use it and things. And if they ever ask me, then of course I'll support it. But it's not the kind of thing that I would feel comfortable putting myself forward to own.
No.
And in fairness, there's a few things like that we over the years, you try and do, but it's very much trying to support things and get out of the way of people who are more qualified to do it better than me.
Cool.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Good stuff. Well, thank you for coming on and talking to us. It's been great, as usual. Always a pleasure talking to you. Well, actually, because you've cannibalised all of the photo walks, we've only got a couple of photo walks on photowalk.me for June. I think everybody's going to the Big Phil photo walk, which is good. I'm not going to begrudge that. Everybody should go.
And by the way, can I just
enjoy.
say that I would love to have used Photowalk, mate. The logistics and legal side of it, trying to sell the tickets, is the only thing
that's fair enough.
Meant that we couldn't. No. But I am massively supportive of everything you've done on that site ever since.
Absolutely, you always have been. I mean, we launched at sort of roughly at the same time, didn't we? In 2018, and you're one of my biggest supporters, and you drove many users to the site over the years. So we'll always be grateful for that. And it's not about my site, it's about the community, and it's about bringing people together. So when I'm not too jealous. But so well, there is a photo walk in Toronto on the 28th of June at 10:30 with Alex Laux, who's done lots of photo walks over there in Canada. And there's also the Photo Social, St Paul's to London Bridge with Nathan McClune, also on the 28th at 10 o'clock. That's the only ones currently sort of like towards the end of the June, but it's because everybody's at the Big Film Photo Walk where they should be, which is good stuff. That's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or questions, please email us on podcast@photowalktalk.net. Make sure you subscribe to get new episodes as and when they are released. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.